It's always a strange feeling when you walk past some hunters and they're hunting bear in the area that you're walking through. Just went past a guy and he's got his spotting scopes. He's got his spotting scope set up and he's just sort of looking over this valley that I'm walking around or through and over, and sort of said, oh, you know, you hunting? He goes, yeah, I just got here last night and just having a look. And he's sort of the area I'm walking through, he's got the spotting scope set up and he's kind of looking over the whole valley, I guess, on the open hillsides, trying to see and spot any bear. Yeah, it's just a strange feeling to know that I'm out here with a bag of food on my back and no firearms, and these guys are up here with rifles and whatnot, expecting to find bear. So I'm not worried about it, but it's always a strange feeling. Also a strange feeling knowing that there's people potentially looking through rifle scopes at you while you're hiking. So good times. Hey Marmot. What you doing, buddy? Are you impersonating a rock? You were doing a pretty good job for a while there. That's a good rock impersonation. I'm not sure what this little fat thing is here. I think he might be injured. He just came trundling past, went right between my legs. Where are you, buddy? Hey? You okay? What if I come down? Oh. See you later. You're a fat whatever you are. Just past the 2,500 mile mark. So technically only 152 miles to go. In reality, unfortunately, there's more than that with a couple of fire closures and some alternates. But today is day 2 out of Leavenworth. It's day 2 of the second last section of Washington. And at this very moment, I have 7.5 days of hiking left to go. It's almost lunchtime, it's about 11 o'clock here. So once I have lunch, 7.5 days until I get to Canada. It's quite beautiful too. It's been really cloudy all morning, but it's really kind of clearing up nicely. It's been a hell of a lot of climbing, but the trail's been in really good condition the whole time. So again, I'm pretty thankful that it's not so far the rocky, overgrown nightmare I was expecting. Wow, that is quite scenic. Watch this. Get all that mountain there, and all that behind me, up there. It's quite beautiful. I am, however, struggling up this hill, so I will save the rambling for another time. Washington sure is turning on the scenery this afternoon. It is just stunning. This is what I've been looking forward to since the entire trail. Well, there's been a slight change of plans. Well, maybe not a change of plans, but a realization of the reality of my current plans. There was a bit of a misunderstanding with mileages and the instructions from the PCTA as to where exactly the alternate around the fire closure ahead starts. And basically, the junction point is 10 miles further than what I had been told. So it's my fault because I listened to other people and their plans and just kind of copied instead of researching it for myself. Entirely 100% on me. However, I did realize that yes, it's an additional 10 miles to the junction, so extra 10 miles to hike. Also, logistically, I looked at the opening hours of the post office in Stehekin, which is the next town where my final resupply package is waiting, and they close at 4 o'clock. Open at 10, close at 4, some pretty casual hours. Then I had the forethought to actually consider the bus schedule. So basically, I take this alternate from 10 miles further up the PCT than planned. It adds on about 7 miles over what the PCT would have had. So 17 additional miles. Well, sorry, no, 7 additional miles. But then, because of my stubborn, consistent footpath between the Mexican border and the Canadian border, joining footsteps the whole way no matter what, there's a road walk. Now the road between where the PCT reopens and Stehekin is 11 miles, and I come out roughly halfway onto that road. So I believe it'll be an uphill walk because I think Stehekin's down quite low. So basically, from where the alternate trail comes out onto that road, I'm going to have approximately 7 miles or 11.5 kilometers uphill to rejoin the PCT where it opens. Now I would prefer to do that with a light pack, so at the end of this section, when I'm basically out of food and my pack is very light, as opposed to at the start of the next section, which is the final section, when I've resupplied and I'm now carrying 4 days of food and other bits and pieces. So all those realizations put together mean that I need to be at where the PCT reopens by about midday on the last day of this section, in order to be able to get the shuttle bus to Stehekin in time to actually pick my package up from the post office before it closes. So basically, I've got to do 10 more miles than originally planned, and also I have about half a day for 7 hours less than I had planned. So it's basically about 10 miles extra. It's for me in this terrain, it's about, let's call it 4 hours. And then the half day, 7 hours less than 11 hours. So basically I have to make up 11 hours of hiking in the next couple of days. Which means I have to haul ass. So the section that looked like it wasn't going to be too painful in terms of mileage has now become slightly painful. No more 25-mile days. I had to try and do a couple of 30s, or just over 30s, to put myself in a position to be able to get to that point by midday to make that bus. So the group I have been hiking with since, on and off, since early Oregon, and quite consistently in Washington, I've had to leave them behind because they're more than likely going to get a ferry or something. They're not attached to the continuous footpath like I am, so I'll still see them there, but I've got to spend the next few days putting in some big miles to get there. But the scenery is just breathtaking today. Got mountains towering up through the clouds over here, and then you can see the valley all around. If I sort of focus it back there, pan slowly, I mean, it's just It's spectacular. I got Pink Floyd blasting, because we all know that Pink Floyd is the best music to listen to when walking in mountains like this. And just gonna get the job done. Had a nice day yesterday. Was in and set up in camp by about 5:30, just 22 miles. And then I slept so well last night. Again, just perfect temperature, quite cold, but you know, not so cold that you actually can't get warm. So inside your sleeping bag, just toasty warm. Not hot though. It's been great. Sun came out enough for me to dry out my tent and my bag at lunch today. So everything's going smoothly, except for the additional miles I have to push. But even that I'm not too concerned about. It's good to know that after today, 7 days of hiking left. Actually, as of this very moment, basically 7 days. In this time, in 7 days, I should hopefully be in Manning Park with my feet up, relaxing, having just through hiked the PCT. I may even have my feet on my mate Mike's dash of his truck as we cruise back towards Vancouver. I don't know, we'll see how that plays out, but it's not long. I even had the thought that I've only got to pack up my tent 7 more times. I think 7 more times? I can't remember, the numbers keep blurring together. Maybe is it 6? 6 more times? 7? I think it's 7. Anyway, it's getting close. Just gotta have a bit of a hard push to the finish here in order to not get held up, because if I don't pick up my package in time, then I will have to stay the night in Stehekin. I will miss the first shuttle because the post office doesn't open until 10, so I won't even get out onto trail until about midday the next day, which will make it a very tough 3 days to the finish to meet my mate. So a few days hard now, and then I should be in a pretty good position to cruise relatively comfortably to the finish. But for now, back to Pink Floyd. Or upside down. Milky glacier water. So the bridge behind me here looks pretty safe, huh? That's my way across this thing. If there was someone else here, I'd get them to film it, but I'm sure it's fine. Surprisingly, it's actually one of the sturdiest bridges I've ever come across. So, looks dodgy, but it's fine. I decided to push on about 6.5 miles past where I was originally planning on camping when I set out this morning, for all the reasons I talked about earlier. Unfortunately, these 6.5 miles have been the miles I've been dreading about this section. Brutally steep, horribly overgrown, and very slow going. I sort of anticipated I'd get in to camp about 6:30 tonight, which would be perfectly acceptable time. Quite happy with 6:30, but unfortunately it's about 7:30 now, and I'm probably still 1.5 miles out. Just have a brief moment of respite from the overgrownness and the steep up, so I thought I'd take that opportunity.